Ever heard the saying, loose lips sink ships?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the wizarding world,
Okay.
loose lips can split souls.
Ooh.
Today we're diving deep into a seemingly unassuming Harry Potter character whose chatty nature had some pretty huge consequences.
All right.
Horace Slughorn.
Horace Slughorn. He may seem like just another eccentric teacher at Hogwarts.
Okay.
But Slughorn had a fateful conversation with Tom Riddle
Ooh.
years before Harry even arrived.
Okay.
And this conversation is anything but insignificant.
So for those who haven't cracked open their Half-Blood Prince in a while,
Yeah.
remind us,
Sure.
who is Slughorn?
Who is Slughorn?
And why should we care about his pre-Harry Potter days?
Well, for decades, he was Hogwarts potions master.
Okay.
But he was also well known for curating a collection of promising students he called his Slug Club.
The Slug Club.
Some pretty famous names passed through those ranks.
Oh, wow.
People like Lily Evans and Severus Snape,
Of course.
just to drop a couple.
The infamous Slug Club. A coveted gathering for the Hogwarts elite.
Right.
Handpicked by Slughorn himself.
That's right.
What's interesting is that unlike many in Slytherin,
Yeah.
his selections weren't solely based on blood purity.
No.
He genuinely seemed to value talent and potential.
He did. Yes, his fascination with collecting talented students definitely seems to stem from a deeper desire
Okay.
for recognition,
Hmm.
a need to be in proximity to greatness.
I see.
Considering his background,
Yeah.
coming from a comfortable family,
Uh-huh.
but lacking the aristocratic lineage of many in his house,
Okay.
it seems he sought prestige through association with those rising stars.
So almost like he was...
Almost like he was
Yeah.
compensating for not being born into wizarding royalty by
Yeah.
building his own royal court.
Makes sense. It wasn't just a Slytherin thing, though, right?
Mm.
This desire to surround himself with future movers and shakers.
No.
I mean, wouldn't anyone be thrilled to have a network of successful witches and wizards?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Slughorn was a master networker,
Right.
but he also genuinely enjoyed basking in the reflected glory of his students' accomplishments.
Right.
He wasn't simply mentoring them out of the goodness of his heart,
Okay.
but he did have a talent for spotting potential.
Right.
And it wasn't just limited to pure-blood wizards.
True.
Remember, he welcomed Lily Evans,
Yeah.
a brilliant muggle-born witch,
Absolutely.
into his inner circle.
That's true. He certainly went against the grain there,
Mhm.
challenging the pure-blood elitism that ran rampant in those days.
Yeah.
So we've got this charming, talented teacher,
Yeah.
a master networker,
Mhm.
with a penchant for luxury.
Mm-hmm.
But we also know there's a darker side to Slughorn.
Right.
This brings us back to his connection with Tom Riddle.
Yes.
Specifically, their chat about Horcruxes.
Yeah.
Now, before we dive into the nitty-gritty,
Okay.
what exactly are Horcruxes?
What exactly are Horcruxes?
Yes.
Horcruxes are objects in which a dark wizard or witch can hide a piece of their soul, making them incredibly difficult to kill.
Oh, wow.
Essentially, as long as a piece of their soul
Okay.
remains anchored to the physical world through a Horcrux,
Right.
they can't truly die.
Well, that's pretty intense.
It's a complex and dangerous form of magic,
Yeah,
and it was a central element of Voldemort's quest for immortality.
right. And it was information about this incredibly dark magic that Slughorn,
Yes.
perhaps unwittingly,
Mhm.
passed on to a young, ambitious Tom Riddle.
Yeah,
What's fascinating is how this seemingly insignificant moment,
right.
this teacher indulging a student's curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
had such monumental consequences.
That's the danger of unchecked ambition and intellectual curiosity, isn't it?
It is.
The pursuit of knowledge without considering the potential repercussions.
Yeah.
Slughorn, in his eagerness to impress this brilliant student,
brilliant.
divulged information that would have horrifying consequences for the entire wizarding world.
It makes you wonder, could he have seen the darkness lurking beneath the surface? Did Riddle's charisma blind him to the potential danger?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
However, we must acknowledge the moral ambiguity of Slughorn's character.
Yeah.
While he disliked Voldemort
Oh,
and
right.
feared him, he chose to avoid direct confrontation
Yeah.
out of self-preservation.
So he prioritized his own safety over confronting the looming evil.
Right.
I imagine that's a decision that weighs heavily on someone,
Yeah.
especially when they realize they've played a role,
Mhm.
however small,
Right.
in the rise of someone like Voldemort.
Indeed. Rowling herself describes Slughorn as shamefully ordinary,
Oh,
emphasizing his very human flaws.
interesting.
He's not a saint, But he's not a monster either.
Yeah.
It's these relatable struggles that make his character so compelling.
That internal conflict,
Mm-hmm.
knowing he contributed to Voldemort's rise,
Yeah.
but also dreading the consequences of standing up to him.
Right.
I have to say, it really adds another dimension to this seemingly simple, jovial character.
It does.
Did Slughorn ever acknowledge this moral conflict?
There is a scene, actually,
Interesting.
that doesn't appear in the movies,
Okay.
but is crucial in the book.
Oh,
It involves Slughorn and Lily Potter,
okay.
a favorite student of his who, like so many others, fell victim to Voldemort.
Right.
This scene in the book provides a glimpse into Slughorn's deeper feelings, especially towards Lily.
Yeah.
It wasn't just her talent as a witch that he admired,
Mm-hmm.
though her potion skills were undeniable.
Of course.
He held a genuine fondness for Lily,
Sure.
appreciating her kindness and bravery as much as her magical prowess.
So beyond the accolades and potential for future success, there was a real emotional connection there.
There was.
It makes his indirect involvement in Voldemort's rise even more poignant,
Yes.
knowing the personal cost of Voldemort's actions.
Exactly. That connection, that affection for Lily becomes a significant factor later on.
Remember that crucial memory Harry needs to obtain.
Yeah.
The one detailing Slughorn's conversation with Tom Riddle about Horcruxes.
Ah, yes.
Yes, the memory that becomes central to Harry's entire mission to defeat Voldemort.
Exactly.
Wow.
The books, unlike the movies,
All right.
reveal that it's not just Dumbledore's pressure or fear of Voldemort that motivates Slughorn to finally relinquish the memory.
Interesting.
His desire to honor Lily's memory,
Right.
to atone for his past mistakes, plays a crucial role.
It's a turning point for his character, when you say. He goes from the self-preserving, somewhat cowardly figure to someone willing to confront his past, even if it's incredibly painful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That act of sharing the memory signifies the start of Slughorn's redemption arc.
Wow.
He's no longer running from his mistakes,
Okay.
but acknowledging their consequences and actively seeking to rectify them. It's a powerful moment that adds depth to his character.
It's interesting, isn't it? We've been discussing Slughorn's Slug Club
Right.
and how it speaks to his desire for recognition and association with success.
Right.
Yet when it comes to Lily,
Yeah.
it seems his feelings run deeper than mere ambition.
Deeper, yeah.
Could this suggest a capacity for genuine affection and mentorship
It could.
that goes beyond self-serving motives?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Slughorn's character constantly challenges our assumptions.
Right.
While he clearly enjoys the benefits of having a network of successful individuals, his fondness for Lily and his subsequent actions to help Harry suggest a more nuanced personality than we might initially perceive.
Right. Speaking of actions, we can't forget about Slughorn's role in the Battle of Hogwarts.
Oh, right. The Battle of Hogwarts.
After a lifetime of avoiding confrontation,
Right.
he chooses to return and fight alongside the defenders, putting himself at considerable risk.
Wow. And in the books, there's a moment sadly absent from the film adaptations where Slughorn leads the charge against Voldemort himself. He's described as bellowing like a bull, rallying his fellow teachers and students.
Oh, my goodness.
Quite a change from the man who once feared rocking the boat.
Wow, that's quite the image.
Yeah.
It's almost like he embraces a hidden Gryffindor spirit,
Yeah.
putting aside his fear and fighting for the greater good.
Yeah.
Would you say that his actions in the battle solidify his redemption?
Absolutely. He's no longer defined by his past mistakes or his fear.
Right.
He chooses to be part of the solution, a defender of Hogwarts and the wizarding world.
So we've traced Slughorn's journey from a flawed but ultimately decent man to a courageous defender at Hogwarts.
Right.
But beyond the individual story, are there any deeper meanings or symbols that connect him to the larger themes of the series?
Definitely. One striking symbol is the memory itself.
Okay.
Slughorn's initial reluctance to share it
Yeah.
speaks to the burden of past mistakes,
Right.
the weight we carry when we've done something we regret.
And by finally confronting that memory,
Yeah.
he's essentially freeing himself from that burden,
Right.
paving the way for his redemption.
Precisely. This ties into the broader themes of forgiveness and second chances.
Right.
No one is perfect.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
Of course.
But it's how we handle them that ultimately defines us.
Right.
Slughorn's choice to face his past and fight for a better future demonstrates the possibility of redemption.
There's also the concept of meritocracy versus favoritism.
Yes.
We've discussed his Slug Club.
Right.
And how it highlights his talent for spotting potential.
Mm-hmm.
But it also raises questions about the potential downsides of elitism.
It does. His preference for those he deems exceptional raises questions about fairness and access.
I see.
Does inherent talent always outweigh hard work and dedication?
That's a good question.
Who gets a seat at the table?
Right.
And who gets left behind?
It's a social commentary that resonates even outside the wizarding world.
It does.
Prompting us to examine our own biases and how we define success. We often discuss how Slughorn challenges traditional Slytherin stereotypes.
You do, yeah.
He's not power-hungry like the Malfoys.
Right.
Or consumed by darkness like Voldemort.
He's a reminder that Slytherin House isn't simply a breeding ground for villains.
Right.
Ambition and self-interest can coexist with kindness and even bravery.
Interesting.
It's how those qualities are channeled that makes the difference.
It's fascinating how he disrupts that good versus evil binary that often defines these stories.
Yeah.
He's a complex mix of positive and negative traits.
He is.
Just like real people.
Exactly. And that complexity is highlighted when we compare him to another prominent Slytherin and potions master, Severus Snape.
Ah, yes. Snape.
His
character shrouded in ambiguity and often misunderstood.
Right.
Though both were potions masters and connected to Lily, their personalities and choices couldn't be more different.
Snape, driven by a love that turns into obsession, becomes consumed by bitterness and resentment.
Right.
Slughorn, while certainly capable of self-serving actions, exhibits a more outwardly focused and jovial demeanor.
I see.
Their contrasting approaches to teaching, mentorship, and even their feelings for Lily are fascinating to explore.
It's as if they represent two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Showcasing the diverse spectrum within Slytherin House and challenging simplistic notions of good and evil.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Comparing them provides a unique lens through which to examine themes of love, loss, and redemption.
Right.
Snape's story is a cautionary tale of unchecked emotions and the destructive nature of resentment.
Right.
While Slughorn, despite his flaws, ultimately finds redemption through acknowledging his mistakes and actively fighting for a better future.
Yeah.
It begs the question, do Slughorn's flaws make him more interesting? Or do they diminish his positive contributions?
That's a great question.
It is.
It challenges us to consider whether his eventual redemption outweighs his earlier mistakes.
Right.
It's a complex issue with no easy answer.
Exactly. It's a question each listener has to wrestle with on their own.
Right.
There's no right or wrong answer. It's all about perspective and personal values.
It's interesting how this question of redemption versus past mistakes isn't unique to Slughorn.
Right.
Even Dumbledore,
oh, yeah,
often perceived as a beacon of wisdom and goodness, grappled with his own share of questionable choices in his youth.
He did.
His past,
yeah,
especially his connection to Grindelwald, haunted him for years.
That's a great parallel.
Yeah.
Dumbledore, despite being revered as a wise and moral leader, was far from perfect.
Right.
He acknowledged his own flaws and carried the weight of his past actions.
It makes you realize that even those we place on pedestals are human.
Yeah.
Capable of making mistakes.
Right.
And grappling with complex moral dilemmas.
Exactly. It reinforces this idea that we're all on a journey, a constant process of learning and striving to be better. Our past doesn't define us.
Right.
It's what we choose to do with those experiences that shapes who we become.
It's fascinating how the Harry Potter books weave these complex themes into a captivating narrative. You're immersed in this magical world.
Yeah.
Yet you're also confronted with these real-life issues, ethical dilemmas that resonate with your own values and experiences.
And that's the hallmark of good storytelling.
Yeah.
It entertains us while challenging our assumptions and encouraging personal growth.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of Horace Slughorn, what key takeaways can we glean from this seemingly minor character, this potion master, with a penchant for luxury and a network of famous friends?
I think the most important takeaway is this. Embrace the complexity.
Right.
Life isn't black and white.
Yeah.
People are multifaceted, capable of both great and not so great things. Don't be afraid to acknowledge the nuances, the contradictions, the flaws that make us human.
It's a reminder to look beyond first impressions and avoid simplistic judgments.
Yes.
Slughorn may initially appear as a harmless, even bumbling old man.
Right.
But beneath the surface lies a depth of character.
Yes.
A story of redemption, and a reminder that even those who stumble can rise and make a difference.
He teaches us that our past mistakes don't have to define us.
Right.
We can learn from them, grow from them, and ultimately choose a different path.
And sometimes the most unexpected characters have the most profound lessons to teach us.
Well said.
Yeah.
As we conclude our deep dive, we encourage you to continue exploring the world of Harry Potter, questioning, reflecting, and engaging in thoughtful discussions.
Absolutely.
The world Rowling created is rich with fascinating characters and thought-provoking themes.
Yeah.
Remember, we've only just scratched the surface today.